purpose on purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose. On purpose. On purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose. On purpose. On purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose. So I'm walking in my purpose.
So today with us on Stewart Talk, we're joined by a special guest. This one I've been trying to get for a while, so it's going to be a very special episode. Here on Stewart Talk, we walk in our purpose, on purpose, and today's guest is definitely doing that. Basketball legend back in the city of Toledo, put in a lot of hard work, really laid the blueprint and the foundation for young girls coming out of the city of Toledo, making it to a D1 school, playing professional, and just being amazing and being great. Today we have with us, clap your hands, give it up for Miss Akienreh Johnson. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So where did your first love for basketball start? What was your age?
As young as I can remember, my dad gave me a basketball as soon as I got out the womb. So I've been playing as long as I can remember.
Yeah, what do you love about basketball?
When I was younger, I definitely loved, like, of course, the game and the competition and playing and winning and getting better. But as I got older, I kind of started to appreciate my teammates more, like meeting new people, meeting people from all across the world, different places, different backgrounds, different races, ethnicities, religions, sexualities, everything. You come across so many different types of people when you play basketball. And now that I'm older, you kind of realize you don't really get to be in situations like that to meet a whole bunch of people from different areas of the world. So just being able to experience different cultures and different point of views, different religions, just different opinions, all those things, I definitely appreciate that the most, I think.
Yeah, and how was it growing up, knowing that your dad played basketball at a high level? Did you hear about the stories when you were younger? Did you feel like you had shoes to fill?
So really, I never felt that way because how he raised us and how he trained us, it was like we were our own people. He didn't want us to be like him. I guess he, of course, trained us in ways that he trained and he played and everything, but I never felt like I had shoes to fill. People always told me how good my dad was. I still, to this day, have not seen any film. I have not seen one video of my dad playing basketball. So to this day, I tell him I'm a little skeptical. I don't know if he was that good for real. No. It was very interesting growing up with him because when we got really serious with basketball, that's around the time he started to retire from hooping. So he still had high energy, still was on that, that grind mode, that basketball mode. So when he was in the gym, I was in the gym. He was kind of using different things to work out. So we had a park in our neighborhood. So we were using the park like a gym. We were doing pull-ups on the bar, trying to climb up the pole, doing push-ups, step-ups, running laps, doing everything. So it was kind of normalized. That was kind of, my childhood wasn't really, going to parties and pool parties. It was like basketball. We had to get in the gym.
And it paid off. What would you say to the youth who mother or father played before them at a high level and might even coach them? How would you tell them to be able to handle it so they still get taught and they don't allow, the coaching and the parents, previous performance to affect them?
I would say just keep your eye on the goal, keep your eye on your ultimate goal and stay focused. My goal was always to go to college for free. I definitely wanted to play professional for a few years. I only got to play 1 year professionally. But when I was younger, I always knew I didn't want to pay for college and I wanted to play professional, at least touch professional. You know what I mean? So kind of putting my thoughts aside, putting my struggles aside, putting my frustrations aside, I knew my ultimate goal was to go to college for free and play basketball and also have the option. A lot of times you see seniors, they don't really have a lot of options to go because they kind of either got recruited late or just no experience really. So being able to choose where I wanted to go and have pretty good options, pretty decent options, that kind of kept me going. And also I don't like to lose. So just think of it like, if you let your parents win, you're going to lose. So you kind of got to trick yourself. I tricked myself a lot when it came to my dad. He kind of knew how to play little mental games because of the fact that he did go and play college basketball and play professionally. He kind of knows what a coach knows. So just trust your parents. They know what's best. You know, they're not going to know everything, of course. You can definitely bring in your 2 cents to it, but just trust your parents. Trust the process. It's not going to be a great fairy tales and rainbows at the beginning, but I mean, you get there. By the time I was 16, 17, my dad left me alone. So just keep the ultimate goal in mind. That's my advice, I would say.
Yeah, and when did you start to see your game taking off to another level and like you was like, man, I really can do this, like, and you start to see the difference for all the hard work paying off?
I would say maybe fifth grade. I played at Holland in their summer league and their weekend. It was like on a weekend league. And I remember the summer before, I think we had lost to this team real bad by like 40. I remember we lost really, really bad. My dad didn't care. He still made us run the next day in practice. But that next year, I came back and I can just tell like how much my game had elevated. Because that summer after we lost, he was like, I guarantee you will never lose like that ever again. And he was absolutely right. We got to work that summer, and that fifth grade year, I remember I couldn't miss. I was unstoppable. I could tell the player development. I started to see the separation. I started to see like, oh, this is actually paying off a little bit. Like all these hours in the gym and all these things that I don't want to do every day. Because in fourth grade, of course, I don't want to get up and go to the gym when I want to have a birthday party tomorrow to go to. But seeing that separation and seeing that growth definitely made me a little bit more motivated to get in the gym.
Yeah, and then you had Rogers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You guys had some great teams there, and it was great, players that end up doing something special after.
Mm-hmm.
When they speak of the Rogers team, sometimes they kind of forget about what was before them because what's more new and more recent. But y'all team was good, and y'all had great players on there, a lot of D1 players as well. When did you start to see that your dreams of you going to the next level was coming to be so real, and how was that for you when you was at Rogers?
I think my eighth grade year, I started to kind of see that my dream was a possibility and it was a lot more reachable and attainable once I got into my freshman year. One player that I always just remember looking up to and watching is Sasha Daly and Sharon Sweeney. Those two players, when I seen that I would be playing with them, oh my God, I was so excited. Because they were, not only were they great players, they were great people, they were great passers, great all-around players, they were winners, hustlers. I just wanted to be like that, and just seeing like the offers and stuff that Sharon was getting and Sasha, it just really motivated me. I tried to stay around them as much as possible and be a sponge. Me and Sasha joke to this day. We ran cross country, and I always kept up with Sasha. I'm like, Sasha, I gotta stay with you. I gotta stay with you, just because I didn't like losing. I did not like losing, and Sasha has a winner's mentality, and that's the type of mentality that my dad has. That's the type of mentality that I definitely wanted to develop. So I just knew, like, I already knew I was good, but I knew I needed a lot. I had a lot to learn. I was a freshman playing and coming and to play with juniors and seniors that were experienced. So I knew I needed to learn a lot of things. And Sasha and like Jazz Smith has like all those players helped me tremendously become the player that eventually I left Rogers to be.
Yeah, so when it's recruiting time right now, it's the process for a lot of upperclassmen and even some that's going to be going into their senior year. How did you handle your recruiting process? And after you tell us about that, can you give words of encouragement to all the up and coming seniors and people right now in their process?
How I handled mine was a little bit different because my dad had me in so many exposure events so early. And I didn't realize that really does help and make a difference because college coaches knew me in middle school. So my process was a little bit different. I was going to like OGBR events. Not even sure if people go to those things anymore. We're going to border battles, playing in Michigan. So my dad got me exposure really, really early. I committed to Michigan when I was a freshman going into my sophomore year. As 14, getting offered by University of Michigan, my mom was just like, yeah, like my parents like, yeah, that's where you're going to go because you get best of both worlds. Wow. You know what I mean? So I definitely would say advice to the younger generation is do your homework. I was kind of more focus on the basketball aspect of school, which everybody is when they're a student athlete. They're just focused on how will I be on the court. So I would say do your homework, ask players that are there, ask players that have left, talk to the coaches, talk to the administration, see is this school going to be beneficial for me basketball wise as well as athletic wise. Are you a person that likes to be in a small little city, or are you that person who likes to be in a big city or maybe a country, or country town, or maybe just something real, just, calm and collective. Because you don't really think about all those aspects when you're going to commit somewhere. You kind of just focus on basketball. So I would definitely say think of the full picture and ask as many questions as possible, and no question is too small. I also take advice. If there's someone that's been there before, if there's someone that you have access to, everybody has access to Instagram and social media. So definitely use your resources, use everything, because we didn't have social media that's so big like the kids have now. So just use what you have, use your resources, trust people, trust the process, but do your homework and just trust your gut. If it feels like home, go there. If it doesn't feel like home, you're a little iffy, you're a little questionable, that's okay. That's a normal feeling. But just ask the right questions and trust the people around you that they have your back.
Yeah. Who did you used to pattern your game after when you were playing?
That's such a hard question. Like, I never really patterned my game after anyone. My dad used to tell me to watch Maya Moore and KD just because they were two big guards. Like, he never wanted me to be a post. So I didn't really have like inspiration to pattern my game off of. And my dad is very like, you're not going to be like someone else. You're going to be your own person. So you're going to be Akienreh Johnson. Like, you're not going to be this person, this person, this person. I'm going to make you different from everybody else. So yeah, just kind of watching big guards and how they move, how they're able to get the rebound and push, have a mismatch, defend 1 through 5, things like that. So we kind of took many, many different players and kind of put it all into one.
Yeah. And then were you familiar, like even when you were going to Michigan, the different people from Toledo that went to Michigan?
I had no idea.
Yeah. Kelly Helvey, Jessica.
There's a couple of them I've heard.
Pace went before she transferred. Yeah, so that's what I mean. That's big time. And then not only that, y'all was sponsored by Jordan. That's like you were like a kid in a candy store.
Definitely.
How did y'all go about picking what shoes to wear for games, practice? Did y'all have it on the board? Was it detailed, or y'all could just pick at your own risk?
It was a team decision, so we kind of tried to color coordinate as much as possible. But for our school, different schools had different rules. So for our school, we all had to wear the same shoe. So it was kind of like a more of a seniority type decision, but everybody had a say in it. So everybody's like, okay, for pink game, what shoes you want to wear? When we're home, what shoes you want to wear? For practice, what shoes you want to wear? So it's always kind of a discussion. But we had so many pair, it was like hard to choose from. We just kind of like the ones that looked the best and that were the most comfortable for everybody. That's kind of how we picked.
What was your favorite Jordan?
I liked all the retros, honestly. Yeah. I know we got a pair of retro ones, Jordan, Michigan themed, and those were my favorite pair.
Yeah. What was your favorite jersey? Because y'all had options there.
Like
yellow, white, blue. Then y'all had pink too as well, right?
Yeah, my favorite was the blue.
Yeah. Wow. Did y'all grow up Ohio State fans?
We did.
So how was that? Do you gotta like cheer when y'all play football, or did you just transfer and say this is all Michigan since I'm here?
Well, I was Ohio State fan because my grandfather was. So like I didn't really care too much about it. I just knew it was always a game. And of course for Ohio State Michigan Day, you're from Ohio, you wear Ohio State every time, you know what I'm saying? So when I got offered from Michigan, we actually sat with our family and we were like, so who's gonna tell my grandfather that I'm going to Michigan? Like we had to have like a discussion because my cousin said like go blue one time, he kicked her out the house, like he made her leave. So he was like a diehard Ohio State fan, did not play. So when I committed there, I was a little nervous. So I'm just like, oh, he's gonna be mad at me. But when he found out I was going to Michigan, he threw all that stuff away. He put it all to the side and bought all Michigan gear. His basement was Ohio State. He transferred it to Michigan, bought all Michigan gear, bought Michigan jerseys, hats, and everything. But when I graduated, he went back. Went back, which is understandable, but yeah, he transferred over. So our whole family had to transfer over.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the dynamic of the Johnson family. Like, what does family mean to you, and how has it helped you even to this day?
Family means everything to me. As getting older, I've been more appreciative of my family. As a kid, you kind of don't really realize how having both parents in your life, having grandparents, having cousins, aunties, uncles, having people around you that have the same goal and same vision as you and the same mentality, you don't realize how it's not very common. You don't really see a lot of families where the whole family plays sports, the whole family play basketball, the whole family is working to go to college, the whole family is giving back and helping kids and have a good head on their shoulders. Like I was very unaware that, everybody had that. So growing up and realizing like, I had, a mom, a dad, I had uncles that played. I had my grandfather played. Everyone was supportive. Like our games, it was a family event. The whole family came, everybody. Being one of the oldest, my younger siblings and my cousins looked up to me because they all wanted to, of course, play D1 basketball. So now my little brother is at college. My sister went to college. My little cousins went to college. So we all have similar goals, and it makes it so much easier to keep going and get in the gym, because now when I'm home, when I'm in the gym, now I got my whole family with me. And little did we know, we're spending time together. That's our bonding time. Like we're sitting there watching the NBA. I'm training my little cousins and training my siblings. My dad is training us. My uncle is training us. So it's kind of like whoever you are around, you're just around basketball, and it just makes it easier to stay focused on your one common goal when everyone around you is focused on the same thing. I would say for me, it was a little challenging because I was the first one in the family to go to college. So I was kind of the test dummy, I call it. So with me going first, I was able to give that knowledge and give that feedback and give advice to like my younger siblings and younger cousins to get where I wanted to go. Because if you want to get there, it's not easy. You gotta train a certain way. You gotta eat a certain way. You have to have a certain schedule. You can't go out and party every single weekend. So having me there that they all trust, and they trust what I say, and they trust my judgment and my knowledge, gave them a lot more confidence, I guess, to keep going, because they knew it was possible. So family definitely means everything to me.
Yeah. Did you face any challenges or setbacks when you was in college? If so, how did you handle them?
I faced challenges, I think, more than I succeeded. I tell people I faced a lot. I tore my ACL my freshman year for the second time, right before my number was about to get called to start like getting a consistent playing, consistent rotation. I tore it right before then. I ended up breaking my hand. So I've been at the back of the bench by the water. You go to games, you see people all the way in the back of the bench. I've been there. I've been in the middle of the bench where I'm playing scarcely, depending on how I'm doing that day, the score, how my coach is feeling. And I've been a starter. I've been a sixth man, and I've been a starter. So I've been literally on every single position on the bench, on a team. I've been the last option. I've been the first option. So I say I just learned a lot of patience. I learned to not give up. I learned consistency. I learned how to be ready when your number is called, because my number got called on a night I didn't even think I was going to play a single second. One of my teammates ended up getting hurt and was down the rest of the game, and I was the next man up. So had I, complained and moped and not worked out and not been consistent, if my number would have got called out, I wouldn't have been able to produce. I wouldn't have been able to perform, and I wouldn't have done well. But because I stayed consistent and I believed in myself and I didn't give up, when my number got called that first game, I had 20 points off the bench, and it kind of shocked everybody because everyone's like, well, why hasn't she been playing? But that's my biggest goal, is not really to make people look stupid, but to show people like, if you don't put me on the floor, it's going to be a reason that you're not winning. Like I want to make sure that when I'm on the floor, I'm noticed, and it doesn't have to just be scoring. It's rebounding, it's defending, it's talking, it's being a leader. Like find your spot on the floor, find your niche, find the best way to get on the floor. Because once you're on the floor and the coach can't take you off the floor, that's when you can get busy. That's when you can really start scoring and doing what you need to do. But you got to stay ready. Had my number been called and I not been ready, who knows how my career would have went. So I'm very thankful for going through those experiences and learning those things, because it ultimately helped me be the player and the person that I am now, and I was when I left.
Yeah. So midway through your college career, going into your pros, did you have coaching on your mind? Is that something that you wanted to do? Is it something that you're thinking about doing? Like, when did the coaching aspect come in mind?
My whole life, people always told me that you would be a great coach, because my dad is a coach, obviously he's a very, very good coach. I kind of just have that coaching, I guess, aura about me. I'm a natural born leader. People respect me. People listen to me. I know how to get the best out of people. Kind of all things that good coaches have. I kind of have always had those things because I'm the oldest sibling. I'm the oldest cousin. You know what I mean? So I've always had those qualities about myself. I never really thought to coach because playing was a time commitment, so I couldn't imagine coaching. You know what I mean? That was always my mindset. Like, I'm all here all day as a player, and I couldn't imagine having to be here all day and not get the benefits of coaching, you know what I mean? Or of playing. But it wasn't until very recently where I thought about being a coach, just because like I have so much knowledge on my mind, and it's just kind of taking up space in my head. And I have so much knowledge and drive and love for the game that it would be a disservice of me to not pass that knowledge on to the next generation of people. So I'm actually going to hopefully be coaching for Central. It's not really official or anything, kind of in the works. Hopefully, just prayers up, everything works out. So I made that decision a couple months ago because I just have, like I said, too much knowledge to just keep that to myself.
Yeah, and you definitely will be great with those girls. I've interviewed several of them, even Coach Hodges, as well, just to see the love, the impact that he has on the players. And even when you were in high school, did you notice that you had younger kids looking up to you? And even when you went to Michigan, did you even know like they were looking at you, that you had the ones that was right underneath you that was following? Like, did you even notice that? Like, or did it become reality later on in life?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't realize how much of an impact I had until I kind of retired, because when you're in it, your tunnel vision is so like you're so focused that sometimes you don't really notice the outside world. So when I came home or I practiced or I was in the gym or whatever, I had a game or something, I'm so focused on today, because being a student athlete at a D1 college, that's hard. Being a student athlete is hard. But I had kind of gotten to a routine because of everything I went through in college, of just focusing on myself, focusing on today, and focusing on the task at hand. Because I'm the type of person, if I focus on too much, I get really overwhelmed and I don't produce very well. So like learning that all these people, looked up to me and watched me and supported me, it's crazy to learn, because I wish I would have appreciated it more when I was actually playing. But like I said, I wasn't focused on that. I wasn't focused on being a role model. I wasn't focused on being someone that people looked up to. I was just focused on being the best me and the best player that I can be, so I can get to the next level. But I do appreciate that there were people looking up to me, because I do think I'm a very good role model and a person and a player that a lot of people should aspire to be. A lot of young women should aspire to be, because my goal in life was always to be a person that I wanted to look up to as a child. So that was always my goal. So little did I know that I was already doing that. I had no idea that I was already accomplishing one of those goals that I had as a kid. So yeah, I wish I would have definitely appreciated it more when I was actually playing.
Yeah. So how did your professional experience was when you were in the pros? How was that experience?
It was very different. It was like a shock going from like Michigan, because Michigan, it's so structured. Like being a D1 athlete, your whole day is structured. You're busy the entire day. You're practicing 4 or 5 hours a day. You're lifting. You have trainers. You have all these things. And kind of when you go overseas, they don't really take basketball as seriously as we do in America. Like they take it seriously in some aspects, because there are good players overseas. But as far as like us getting in the gym at 6 a.m. and working out for hours a day and lifting and doing all these things, they don't really do that over there. So going over there,
That irritated you, didn't it?
a little bit, it confused me as well, because I'm just like, well, if y'all want to win, we gotta, you gotta get in the gym. That's a weird concept, but their mindset is not on that. So I'm very emotional when I play. I get into it because over there, that's my job. Like, I'm getting paid to play. I'm away from my family. I don't get to go home for these holidays. I don't get to go home on the weekend. I'm here for business. So of course, in the game, if the ref calls a terrible foul, or people aren't playing hard, or people miss layups, of course you get a little emotional, but my teammates, I kind of had to learn how to speak a different way, because not only do they not really understand what you're saying, they don't understand your passion for the game. So they didn't understand why missing 3 wide open layups, why I'm upset with you. They didn't get that concept. So having to really relax and use your deep breaths and really communicate and not yell, and really just communicate and explain the importance of the small things and the small plays. That was a challenge as well, because in the game you don't want to have to be calm and explain like, hey, you should really make that layup next time. No, you want to yell, you want to get people amped up. So having to learn a different type of communication style, it was definitely a challenge. The food was a challenge. Half the time I didn't know what I was eating. I had to find me a McDonald's over there and eat me McDonald's a couple times a week. Finding new friends, but also just experiencing a new culture. Like there was no crime rate where I was at. Like they didn't fear crime. They didn't fear, getting killed or getting murdered. People didn't do that over there. So living around people that you didn't have to fear for your life every day. Because, let's be honest, we live in Toledo. You got to be a little careful when you're walking around Toledo. So walking around Sweden and not really having to fear, because people just are peaceful and thinking differently. They get like a break every hour when they work. They get maternity leave for an entire year. Like, people are just calmer over there. So being around a different type of people with different mindsets and different morals. I was teammates with a doctor, and over there they don't make millions of dollars like they do over here. If you're a doctor over there, you want to be a doctor. You want to be a doctor because you want to help people. You actually want to give back. So being around people like that, it kind of makes you, rewire your brain. Like, oh wow, there really is good in this world, and there are people that actually want to give back and help. So I see why basketball is not really a huge focus, because you're focused on living life and being happy, So I was definitely blessed to be able to just experience a different culture, because who gets to be able to say that they experienced a whole different culture and can live in a different country for free? Like, who else can really say that experience? But like I said, with that as well, I definitely wish I would have appreciated that a little bit more, because like I said, I was so locked into basketball. I just didn't even focus on like having fun and experiencing the things that I definitely could have experienced.
Yeah, and what do you think about the new women's league in Toledo that they just started? What's your thoughts on that? Giving everybody a chance to get back in the flow of things and get the cobwebs out and getting out there. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's so cool. Like, I honestly, when I first heard of the league, I kind of was a little skeptical. Like, nah, I don't think really think I want to play. Like, my body kind of hurt. I don't know if I want to get back out there. I didn't think it's gonna be that many people that wanted to play. But when I came to open gym and came to our little draft and came to the first game, I was like, oh, people really actually want to see like old retired people play. So the first game, we kind of came in laughing about it, joking. But after that, we're like, oh yeah, we want to win. Like, you kind of get back into that mode. And I think that's really good for the girls to do, because the men do it. The men do it all the time. They've been doing it for years. My dad plays in the men's league. He's been doing that for years. So having to like tell people, like, I have a game on Sunday, and people actually want to see you play and they want to support you, it kind of gives you your confidence back. Because as being a student athlete, a lot of your confidence comes from your sport. Like, so once you take that sport away, you kind of have like an identity crisis a little bit. So me and Sasha actually talked about it, and Taylor Works, she plays on our team as well, and Kiesha Peace plays with us as well. And we kind of just talk about like how good it feels to just be part of a team again, and like go practice again and do plays and just do the small things that maybe at the time you didn't want to do because it was a job and it was like expected. So having like being able to go back and for God to be able to bless me to be healthy and still be able to move like I want to, and not, got too out of shape to where I couldn't play no more. It's definitely a blessing. And I'm definitely happy that they were able to do that for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the girls on. They're gonna probably reach out to you again. But I said I already got her booked for her individual. Come on with y'all. That's cool. We gotta get this individual out the way first. But they're probably gonna reach out to you. Last couple questions that I get you out of here. What should the young girls be doing to work on their game? Because it seems like now the game is missing a lot of fundamentals, a lot of, right plays, and it's just like they just shooting in one-on-ones. What do you think needs to be done, and how do you see it?
I just think people need to find their niche, find their strength, find their best way. Everybody's not going to be a 20-point scorer. That's unfortunate. I learned that in college. Everybody's not going to be the best player. Everybody's not going to be LeBron James. I'm sorry. We need some other players out there. We need people that's going to rebound. We need people that's going to be leaders. We need people that's going to take charges and get loose balls and defend the next team's best player. Find your way on the court, find your niche. And like you said, the fundamentals, like people just want to go and do an alley-oop and do a sweet move and get a layup. No, like defense is important as well. Communication is important. Learning plays is important. All the small things that you think don't matter, those things are important. Hanging your head down after you get a turnover, that's important, because you hang your head down, that 2 seconds, someone's getting a layup where you could have got it back. You're hanging your head and you're being upset. Next play, you have to focus on the next play. So I would just say, putting more emphasis on the small things and the things that people do not think are important can make or break your game. Ball fakes. People don't use ball fakes. Bounce passes. People don't know how to pass. I was watching some girls, they don't know how to pass the ball in the post. We're like, there's no working on fundamentals. Everybody just wants to do 1,000 dribbles and score. Learn how to use your team. Learn how to not get upset if things aren't going your way. If you're a scorer that isn't scoring, how else can you be on the floor? Because if you're not scoring, and you're a good scorer, you're not doing anything else. If you're not scoring that night, you're not going to play. You know what I mean? So I just think focusing on small things and team bonding and communication, and focusing on building together and being part of a team and loving each other and learning. Just because me and you might not see eye to eye does not mean that we have to be hateful. We still have a goal at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So I just think think just small things that people just don't really draw attention on is definitely important with winning. Because at Rogers, you know, we all didn't like each other every single day. It was times I didn't feel like practicing with them, but at the end of the day, we in this together. We got a game tomorrow. You know what I mean? We can't bring up yesterday's problems and bring them to today. You know what I mean? And people just don't really know how to do that in general. But also learning that the skills that you learn from basketball, you carry that on the rest of your life. I'm the person I am today because of basketball. I've learned communication. I've learned how to I've learned integrity. I've learned accountability. I learned how to work hard. I've learned to not be lazy and have patience. A lot of these things that regular people do not have because they've never had to challenge themselves. So just really focusing on it's not just about the ball going into the hoop. It's about so many more things when it comes to being on a basketball team and being successful.
Yeah, and I was interviewing somebody and they were saying that just knowing how to dribble with your right and your left hand would set you apart because everybody can't do that.
Everybody can't do that.
So that was just set you just far a little bit. And another thing I was thinking about, even as we interview and how you are passionate about this, I feel like you need to be guest speaking in front of kids and even like at basketball camps, or even hopefully prayerfully you get it in the right coaching position where you can, but even that, to be able to describe and talk about it, your passion, because the young girls see that's gonna make them gravitate to it because you're passionate about it and they can see it. So I feel like you'll do very good at being a motivational speaker as well as that too. Comparison is the thief of joy. So everybody's seeing social media, they seeing these people going to these schools, they seeing these different people, so that's throwing them off. How were you able to separate making the main thing be the main thing? Because like now these girls are dealing with young men, so now they got the boyfriend and girlfriend aspect. How did you, besides your dad, because I know he was
yeah, I'm about to say that's number one. That's number one.
How did you not get distracted even when you wasn't around? Because you see a lot of them, they booed up on social media, but they really good and can go D1 and all like that. So what should they be doing not to allow that to be a distraction?
Priorities. It's definitely good to have a balance of social life and hard work, and like your job. It's definitely important to have a balance, but at the end of the day, you have to put your priorities first. I learned priorities when I was in middle school. My dad, my parents, they were like, if if you have a bad grade Saturday, you can't go to that party. If you don't work out and get in the gym and do what you need to do Saturday, you're not seeing your boyfriend. Like, it was that simple. And I hated it so much, but it taught me so many valuable lessons. When I got to college and I was by myself and I had a game tomorrow, I was like, okay, I can go hang out with this boy, or I can go to this party, or I can go to this club, or should I probably go either get in the gym or go get some rest, go get some treatment so I can perform tomorrow? So it's really just setting your priorities aside and putting them first, understanding that the difference between a priority and a privilege. Like, a privilege is something that you're able to do, something fun, something extra. But if you don't have your priorities, if you haven't finished your priorities, why would you have time and energy? And why would you even want to go have fun? Like, me personally, if I just played terrible Tuesday, I don't want to go see my boyfriend Wednesday. I want to get in the gym. I want to get better. You know what I mean? So if your goal is to be a wife at 16, I guess that you want to see a boyfriend. But if your goal is to be successful and actually get to the next level, boys are always going to be there. And I had a boyfriend in high school, and so I understand. You want to see your boyfriend, you want to be booed up, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to go to this party, you want to do all these things. But you have to put yourself around people that have the same goal as you. So if your boyfriend, maybe if you're a girl and you're in the gym and you're hooping and you're doing all these things, and your boyfriend is out not doing anything, you don't want to surround yourself with people like him because he has nothing to lose. Same thing as friends. If your friends aren't on the same goals as you, it's really easy to deter yourself and go backwards in your goals because you don't have people pushing you. I had friends where sometimes I would have workouts the next morning and they want to go out. And I'm like, I have to go to bed. You know what I mean? And it's hard to stand alone. It's hard to be by yourself. It's hard to not do what everybody else is doing and not follow the crowd. But the benefits are so much better. If you want to be like everybody else, be like everybody else. The successful people, they say no and they put that extra work in. I was a hard worker. Zaya Cook, she worked. Oh my God, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't hang out with nobody. She had practice. She went to the gym in the mornings before school, after practice, on the weekends. She was tired, all those things. But look at the benefits. Had she been out with everybody else and hanging out and going to parties and being with boyfriends and do all those things, she probably wouldn't be as successful as she is now. So her priority was to be who she is right now, and that takes sacrifice. So you have to learn how to sacrifice what you don't need for what you want. So just priorities, putting your priorities ahead. It's okay to go hang out on the weekend, but let's just get in the gym first. Just get in the gym in the morning, and then you can have the whole rest of the day do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So this is going to be words of encouragement for all the young hoopers that follow Stool Talk, and I'm going to send this to them. I want you to say whatever comes on your heart to them, the young basketball women or young ladies that's out there working hard.
Just just off the top of my brain, just say something.
Yep.
I would say you got it. And one thing that you guys have right now is you have social media and you have representation. You have Angel Reese, you have all these players that you can look up to and you want to be like, and they tell their stories. So just keep going. It's gonna definitely pay off. Just because you're a girl, trust me, you can do way more than the boy can do. I promise you. Don't let anybody get you off your game. Don't let anybody deter you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. If you want to do something, do it. And just because you don't play pro does not mean you're not a good player. I played 1 year pro basketball, and I think I was one of the best players in Toledo. So just have your priorities straight. Keep working. Keep grinding. It'll all play off one day. I know you're tired. I'm tired as well. I know this world is hard right now. I know it's a lot going on, and it's stressful, but keep going. I promise it'll pay off.
Yeah. Who do you think should get Rookie of the Year, or do you think they should split it? I personally think they should split it because they always want to play this. Hey, Caitlin Clark doing this, but what about Angel Reese? She's doing historical things too. What's your thoughts on that?
I've had this discussion with so many people because, the in me wants Angel Reese, for the people, for us, but I think she deserves it. Like she's doing well. She's shutting the critics up, and she's working, she's performing, she's producing, she's doing everything that people told her that she can't. But Caitlin is Caitlin. Caitlin is just good. You know what I mean? So I just think that whoever wins it should be fair. It shouldn't be political. It shouldn't be because people have more fans or more followers or more whatever than the next person. It should be fair. If one person is doing better than the other, that's Rookie of the Year. Me personally, I don't know who deserves it right now. If they can both get it, I wouldn't even be mad if they both got it because they're both great players. They're both making an impact. They're both giving back. They're both two great women, two great people. I played against both of them. They're both really good people, really good players. So that debate is a little tricky because I personally think that they both deserve it. But, politics gonna get involved, and he say, she say gonna get involved, all that racism, color gonna get involved, all that stuff gonna get involved. So I think they both deserve it. But the better player gotta win. The best player gotta win.
At least we know the WNBA is in great hands, though, for the future.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, we thank you. We spotlighting you for your journey, for your, all what you bring to the game of basketball. You still bring it. You're passionate. We pray that God just continue to bless you, that He order your steps, that He give you favor, even in this next decision, even in coaching. The right place, the right fit, but more importantly, that the right people hear what you have to say to motivate them and to allow them to see the greatness inside of them. You had a great career. We're celebrating. We give you your flowers for being great and, continuing to work hard and continue to be the best version of you that you can. So we thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Akienreh Johnson.